Hello and happy terrible Wednesday out there to all. This is the PHLY Phillies podcast. Jamie Lynch, Renee Washington, and Tyler Zulli here with you. We appreciate all of you in the chat already. You real ones, you the real MVPs, as KD would say. I believe Ray Schumacher is first in today. Just to give a little update on our scheduling. We were supposed to do a post-game show today. We are going to be doing a post-game show on Friday after the Nats game. But I think everybody here in the PHLY offices believes, based on the weather, there's a slim chance this one gets in tonight. Some meteorologists are saying between 4 and 8 p.m. tonight is actually the worst of it. There's a tornado front in Ohio that was moving east. So you're going to get a lot of winds tonight on top of the rain. So we just had no confidence that the game was going to get in, so we kind of adjusted on the fly. And here we are in the afternoon talking baseball, Renee.
Yeah, exactly. It's, listen, there's no guarantee today happened. The rain and the weather's been awful. We've had flooding. We've had lightnings on the horizon. There's supposed to be a tornado in my city, as Beyonce says.
Does she say that?
She does, actually. There's a tornado. It's in her latest song.
I'll take your word for it.
There's a tornado in my city. Just like that.
Sure. Well, urban tornadoes are a thing now, so Beyonce she doesn't miss.
She doesn't.
And this show is brought to you by our friends. Renee will talk about our packages that we got yesterday in a second. Factor meal kits. Use code Phillies50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and free wellness shots for life with any active subscription by heading to factormeals.com/Phillies50. Now, you texted yesterday because Factor is a prepared meal kind of service for you. So when they say it's going to be there on that date,
I was there.
They mean business. And they told us Tuesday it was going to arrive, and you got home before I did yesterday. I arrived at the door to my Protein Plus subscription box from them, and it looks spectacular. I meant to bring one in today for lunch, but I forgot. But my wife took one in. I did drink one of the free wellness shots.
Are you feeling good?
Well, I felt like the Hulk afterwards, but it was quite tasty. It was like a lemon, apple, honey, turmeric, and something else. And I just downed it over the sink when I got it because it came cold in the nice packaging.
Yeah.
Very tasty beverage.
It is. And we'll talk more about Factor because this is almost
I'm looking forward to my meals.
I know. It is. It's great. It's great. We'll talk more about them because the food is delicious. I had an Indian butter chicken yesterday, which was so good. Oh, amazing.
I wonder if Shiesty Bryce, before the game yesterday,
I was going to say,
threw down a Factor meal and a wellness shot and was feeling
afterwards,
pretty swole.
I was feeling good. I was feeling full. Of course, I got to wash it down with some yummy milk. And Tyler is vomiting. And so, listen, you can always count on them to be on time. I don't know if the game's going to be on time today. I will say this is one of those moments today where I was like, if this was soccer, we wouldn't have these issues because soccer would be played as usual. If it was, raining, flooding, monsooning, it takes a lot to cancel a soccer game. But I don't think this baseball game is going to happen.
I'm kind of shocked they didn't schedule it for tomorrow.
I appreciate the effort, but I would like them to be.
The baseball players have tea times tomorrow over at Pine Valley or something, and they don't want to cancel them.
The problem is, by you not going on canceling today's game, you're wasting today. Like, if everybody knew today's game was getting moved, fans don't have to worry about, am I going, am I watching, am I not? You know you have off from Phillies baseball today. The players know they have off. They can go ahead and tweak their schedules versus you now essentially. It's like when they don't go on and give you a snow day at school. Yeah. Like, just go ahead and make the decision early this morning. So now the entire day we can just focus on other things. But yeah, I just think that it's a weird, gross day.
It's stupid.
But it's not. What's not weird and gross and what's fantastic is our beautiful friends in the chat Barbara Carroll, Lisa. What's up, Lisa? Haven't seen you in here in a minute.
Oh, and
Spiral Out, Dark
Kim,
Poo.
I believe her husband is
Kim?
having knee surgery this morning.
I believe
and she
so.
said, she tweeted us, she said, oh, this is great. This is during the downtime at the hospital.
Yep.
I can tune in. So all the best to your husband there, Kim.
Exactly. But in the chat,
Or maybe it
great
was
to
Lisa.
see
Sorry, Kim. One of you two's husband is having a knee surgery today.
somebody's husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
a lot
is-
of people's girlfriends are in there.
Oh, no.
Nah, I got nothing on this one.
Oh,
no.
Wayne's World.
Oh, see, I never really was a huge fan of Wayne's World.
I'm
I
going
know.
to pretend I didn't hear that.
I know what I just said is like, let me fix the juju
When Wayne
in the
and Garth
air.
are trying to get backstage with Tia Carrera
Like, it's
and
cool,
Rob Lowe,
but
and
like,
the security
it
guard's
wasn't.
like, yeah, buddy, a lot of guys' girlfriends are in there.
Okay.
Oh, come on.
All right. Well, I was giving my shout out to my
I thought
friends,
you,
to
Tyler,
all
as
my
the rock and
friends
roll
in the
head
chat.
would
Jay,
get that
Randy,
one.
Star Wars 99. Listen, most excitingly, as much as the weather is a Debbie Downer right now. Yesterday, weather was not an issue. Weather was not an issue at all. It was a
I'm
great
surprised
day
it was pretty clear.
for baseball because Bryce Harper.
Pretty cool storylines in this game. There's three major storylines, but of course, we'll start with the biggest one, in my opinion, and pretty much everybody's opinion, and that was Bryce Harper.
Yes.
Shiesty Bryce, thrice Bryce, number 3, going for that third NL MVP, breaks his 0 for 11 slump in a major way. So the first home run is the most clear kind of moonshot looking home run. The next one was kind of a piss missile right over the wall, not a high arcer. The third one, the center fielder made a tremendous play on. What's his name? Benson, Tyler? Why am I brain farting?
Yeah, it was Will Benson. He made an incredible play on that ball.
Made an incredible play in the rain, or Bryce Harper's 4 for 4 with 3 home runs and a double or a triple if it's not for Will Benson pulling that out of his ass. And then the third one, right center field. I mean, you talk about being back. You don't see many players ever that locked in. He went left center field. He went right center field. He went right field, spraying the ball all over. Bryce is back in a huge way.
Yeah, and the amount of incredible firsts and records and things that came with that feat, remarkable. First of all, 3. The other day, 2 was like the magic number. I feel like 3 is now the magic number. 3 for 3. We obviously know he had already tweeted out and posted when him and his wife announced that they were expecting their third child. 3 for 3. Well, last night was also 3 for 3. To go hitless in the first 3 games that he played. And then the first hit of 2024 is a home run. And then just continue that. I know we had talked about it yesterday on our show of, we all expected Bryce Harper's going to be fine. Let's not forget spring training at the end of it. He was injured. He missed. So it even just took him some time to get going once the regular season was underway. And we never had a doubt that Bryce Harper was going to be back. But 3 home runs, including a grand slam, phenomenal. And when you look at the fact that was, and I know in the chat it was mentioned by Ray, 6 RBIs being his record for one game does seem wrong. He's had 5 RBIs in multiple games. He hasn't had 6 RBIs. So that is a career high. He's had 5 games of 5 RBIs. 5. Remarkable. 5 RBIs. But this time, crashed that number, made it 6. Also, of course, as we know, his second time in his career having a 3 home run game. The first time that we've seen a Phillies 3 homers since Brad Miller at Wrigley Field back in July of 2021. The first 3 homer, including a grand slam since Jason Worth against Toronto in May of 2008. It's just remarkable. These are the things that Bryce Harper, as we talked about yesterday, the biggest reason I brought up him being hitless was when Bryce is on, it obviously drastically changes the game. And we mentioned if you had the offensive production, then you're taking care of business. And that's exactly what the Phillies did last night. 6 RBIs by Bryce, handled business that put the game away.
He
and
immediately becomes
the
second in
momentum
Major
is
League
there.
Baseball in home runs in one game.
The energy's there. Shout out to my fantasy team.
Oh, great.
You're great.
Oh, great. We get to hear about that every time Bryce Harper does well this year. Tyler, did that just set in for you too?
Yeah, this is going to be a long 162 game season.
You guys got me playing fantasy baseball, and here I am.
All
and
right.
anytime Will Smith, Bryce Harper, Mookie Betts, Corey Seager, Garcia, my list is, I got a stacked team. Anytime they do something, you're gonna hear about it. But my fantasy team last night was on. I don't want to say on
All
fleek.
right, so should I be the guy? Well, Yanair Diaz has 6 hits in his last 3 games, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs. He's been on base 8 times. You want me to be that guy?
Real quick, who in our fantasy league is dropping Nolan Jones? And why didn't I get him?
I have no idea.
What are you doing?
Me.
But yes, we may have created a monster here, Tyler. Yes, Bryce Harper and
my Bryce Betts our wash team.
Is that your team name? Oh boy.
I couldn't think of something better.
Huge shout out to Darth Pooh in the chat. Bet last night, I think he said plus 1,300 that Bryce Harper would have a multi-home run game.
$5 bet. Let's go. You're the real MVP.
Beers
and
on
yes,
Darth
it
Pooh.
was also, as Star Wars is mentioning, it was another milestone as Bryce also eclipsed 1,000 runs. Listen, it was a fantastic moment because to burst onto the scene, break the streak of being hitless, and come out and have 3 home runs. I feel like it's such a huge weight. Are you taking screenshots over there? A huge weight lifted off your shoulders.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did. I heard the.
Yeah, I'm trying to get you guys some
it's all good.
graphics here.
So
it's all good.
There is a real chance, and Tyler, I'll try and look this up too, that if Bryce Harper doesn't have major, injuries over the next 7 years as a Philly, he's going to score 2,000 runs in Major League Baseball. Yeah. There's a very good chance he can do that. And there's not many people in the history of the game that can say that. I'm trying to look up the 2,000 runs club because it's not a big list. Here it is. So Bryce gets to 1,000 last night. In the 2,000 run club, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people in the history of the game. All right, sicko. We're going to go to the bot here. All right, bot. 8 guys.
Tag them in.
We're not going to spend like several minutes on this, but let's see how many just off the hip you can get.
I believe number 1, or at one point he was number 1. Ricky Henderson should be up there.
Number 1 at 2,295 runs scored.
As good as Ricky Henderson's numbers are, we're getting to a point where Ricky Henderson might be underrated.
Yes.
I don't know how that's plausible.
His WAR is like 125 or something. Yes.
So you got to go with guys with longevity that played a really long time to get to 2,000 runs scored.
You're at 1.
I'm probably going to go with Willie Mays.
Willie Mays is 7th. You have 2.
So there's 7 total, and he's 7th?
There's 8, and he's 7th.
8 total, and he's 7th. Let's try to do this very, very quickly. We'll go with Barry Bonds.
Barry Bonds is up there. He is 3rd with 2,227.
If you guys in the chat know something. Mickey's saying Tim Raines.
Tim Raines is incorrect.
So there's somebody in between Bonds and Henderson?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, he's one of the most famous names ever.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm
just old school.
You figure if you go with the guys that have 700 home runs, they're like 35% there. Yeah. So I assume that Babe Ruth probably makes the list.
Babe Ruth is 4th behind Barry Bonds.
That's the only one I could think of is
Babe.
There's more in the chat.
Hank Aaron
incorrect.
Did Hank Aaron get to 2,000?
Hank Aaron did. He is number 5, 2,174.
Slam coming in. Oh, so Darth Pooh's dropping
2
some
and
guesses.
5 left?
You have 2,
Sosa,
6, and 8.
2, 6, and 8.
Griff.
Pujols, wrong. Spiral out.
Griffey,
wrong.
Aaron?
We already did. The bot already got that.
Oh, I missed that one.
I'm
trying to read the chat.
2,000's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
How many?
One is modern era, one is old school, and one is
in between.
Yeah.
Is the modern era
like
Alex Rodriguez?
Ding, ding, ding. Number 8.
Oh.
2,021 runs scored.
Okay, so then old school, we're talking like 10s, 20s, 30s old school, or
turn of the century old school.
Wow. Okay.
I think he was playing in 1904. I think he played. I want to say he started 1898 to like 19, close to 20.
I remember those days.
I'm going to go. I think this is probably the first one I'm going to get wrong. I'm going to go Honest Wagner.
Wrong. Ty Cobb. Number 2.
Mickey Durkin in the chat had it.
Number 2 all time. And Spiral Out got the last one there. Charlie Hustle. Pete Rose at number 6
guys.
with 2,165. Guys that just missed the cut. Old Cap Anson.
Oh,
Now,
Jay had A-Rod. My bad, Jay.
Cap Anson, this hurts. 1,999.
Ooh, oh, that's painful.
I don't know. They made a movie about that. I think Bernie Mac was in it.
That's.
Oh wait, no, that's 3,000.
I love that
was a
movie,
good movie.
actually.
Bernie Mac was
Forgot
gold.
about that one.
Stan Musial just misses his at 1949, and Derek Jeter, El Capitan, at 1,923. So if you project Bryce Harper to stay healthy, he has a real shot at the 2,000 run club, which is because when you start playing at age 18 and if you play to 40, and you're a really good player on top of it. So, something to watch with Bryce Harper. That's really impressive.
By the way, speaking of Harper yesterday, do you guys want to see the list of his exit velocity?
Yes.
On yesterday's game?
Very much so.
This is insane.
Because he was hitting piss missiles.
Those are his the four balls off his bat.
I can't really.
99.9 was the softest ball he hit.
103,
103.3, 107.7, 108.3.
Oh, I would have guessed one of those was over 110.
108.3 went 422 feet. It was a home run in every single ballpark.
Wow.
The 107.7 went 420. It was 27 of 30. His third home run was 21 of 30. And the ball that he hit that Will Benson made a play on had an expected batting average of 380.
Okay. I would have guessed a little higher. Really impressive.
Wow.
I mean, Bryce Harper, you talk about making a statement and saying, hey, I'm no longer cold. We talked about it yesterday. Tyler and I saw two pitches together where we were like, ooh, that's one he normally just crushes. And you can tell, Rob Thompson said it the night before, it's just timing with Bryce. He's right there. He's about to turn the corner. And talk about turning a corner. My goodness.
It was so great to see Bryce heat up right at the right time. And you know what else? You can heat up at the right time for some yummy meals. That's over at Factor Meal Kits. That's right. And as Jamie mentioned before, we had a chance to try out Factor Meal Kits ourselves. I loved the Indian butter chicken. It was seasoned just right. It was fresh. And that's exactly what we've talked about on every time that I hear anything about Factor Meal Kits. It's the fact you get fresh food that's delivered right to your door. They have the frozen ice packs in there to keep it nice and cool. You pop it in your refrigerator, and then whenever you're ready to eat it, you pop it in the microwave for 2 minutes, and it's ready to go. So I love that Factor Meal Kits gives you options because everybody's got something different that you're looking for. They've got vegan and veggie options. They've got mine, the Protein Plus. I need the extra protein. They've got a keto. They've got a Calorie Smart. So whatever your lifestyle is, your diet is, they give you restaurant quality, chef quality meals, dietitian approved, that are delivered right to your door. And you can set up the schedule for when you want that food delivered. They've got you covered with 35 different food options for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They also have 60 add-ons every week. You can add in a smoothie, a beverage, snacks, whatever it is you want to add on that you can add into your routine of what your schedule is. And then, of course, with Factor Meal Kits, they allow you to have the stress-free eating. Last night I got home, I was exhausted, it was rainy out, I was like, I don't feel like cooking. Oh, wait, I've got Factor Meal Kits. Let me pop that in the microwave. No stress, no mess, no prep, no cleanup. Just pop it in the microwave. They've got microwave-safe dishes, makes it easy for you. So now you can pop that bad boy into your bag for lunch at work or heat it up for breakfast. And they've got a lot of gourmet meals, premium ingredients like filet mignon, shrimp, truffle butter, broccolini, asparagus, yum asparagus. I know some of you in the chat don't like your asparagus, but I do. So over at Factor Meal Kits, it's a solution that provides you with fast premium meals, great prices. It's much cheaper than takeout every day. And if you head over to factormeals.com/Phillies50 and use that code Phillies50, you will get 50% off. Again, that's code Phillies50. Get 50% off at factormeals.com/Phillies50 because it's very delicious. And now that I've had a chance to eat it myself, I was like, actually, this is very nice.
The wellness shots that you get for free.
The wellness shots.
Those were
exactly
good. I just feel like I downed it over the sink and I was just like,
so
right, I can feel it coursing through my veins. I'm ready. I'm healthy now. Yeah.
Hawk Lynch. But my thing is usually with any sort of meal plan, the reason I don't like them is they're not really seasoned well. And I don't like bland food. Like I want something that's got the right mixture of ingredients and seasoning. And when I had that truffle.
You're not going to believe this, Renee.
Oh, no.
I've never been into meal planning. So this is a whole new world to me.
Oh.
So I feel healthier just mentally being
and
there.
like you go home and there's already an option. And
Yeah.
now
I
the
can bring it
girls
in for
want their
lunch.
chicken nuggets or something. You can pop in your
I
Factor
gave one
Meal
to my
kits.
wife for work today.
Yeah, I
said,
kind
"Here
of
you
think
go."
I'm a little sold.
Yeah.
So I normally do real quick. I normally do cook on like a Sunday, Monday, and make a big meal of like pasta or rice with like a grilled chicken or salmon or something that I kind of have for the week. So I do meal prepping, like I'm not as thorough as some people where they do it in the individual, containers and stuff, and they mark it each day. But I do kind of my own meal prep style because I pack my lunch every day. Mom and dad are proud.
I wish I did that, but I'm weak.
So this actually made it even easier. You're not weak. You just didn't have the right opportunity.
Well, if I wanted to wash down a delicious Factor meal with a healthy soda, because if you're like me, you grew up in kind of a little bit of a soda house. My dad loved soda, so there was always soda around. And root beer floats as a kid. Now as an adult, I go, oh man, I can't have a root beer float. All those empty calories in the root beer plus the ice cream. Well, if you eliminate those empty calories from your soda and replace it with a fiber-based gut health soda, and they have a root beer flavor, you can still have that, root beer float a little more guilt-free, because Olipop is the first functional soda in the world that has the classic soda taste and benefits of plant-based fiber, prebiotics, and other botanical ingredients that support gut health. Olipop is a new kind of soda with only 2 to 5 grams of sugar and 9 grams of fiber per can. And they are available everywhere. Now that they've splashed down in the market, I see them at Whole Foods. I see them at Fresh Market and other grocery stores. And now they're in the express cases at Wawa. Wawa is the lifeblood of the area. So we're so excited that Olipop is now in the express cases at Wawa. So keep a lookout for them there. They have the classic root beer and strawberry vanilla, which are their 2 most popular flavors. I know Tyler back there is a big fan of the grape. The cherry cola was quite
Love the
good.
grape.
And I'm going to start venturing into the Olipop cocktail world and using them for some cocktails as well. And you feel better because you get to enjoy the classic taste of soda without all the crap you don't need. And you're doing something good for your stomach and your gut health by having the prebiotics. And they just have all the nostalgic flavors. So use the code PHLY20 and you can get 20% off your next Olipop order. The discount only applies to one-time orders, not to subscription orders. Olipop is sold online. You can go to drinkolipop.com and Amazon if you're like me, where you just simplify everything. It's just right there, one swipe away, boom. Lord Bezos will drop Olipop right on your doorstep for you. And available at almost 30,000 retailers nationwide, including Wawa, Target, Sprouts, Wegmans, ShopRite, and GoPuff. All right, so Bryce Harper was one of the great storylines last night.
I want to get on a storyline that's first on the chat. I know it was asked if anybody's tried Olipop. As you mentioned, we actually have it in our fridge here, and our fridge right behind us. We have a ton of Olipop. It's very good.
In there,
but
we
also
have,
in the chat,
Dr. Goodwin, which is like the Dr. Pepper, lemon lime, cherry cola, vintage cola, cherry vanilla, and tropical punch.
But also in the chat, you guys are mentioning the thoughts of Mike Trout in the lineup. He's not in the lineup today, and hopefully maybe not any day, but the lineup is out for today because the Phillies are still being very optimistic that the game is going to happen. We did get the lineup dropping. That's one of the benefits of our show being a little bit later today. And so we've got Wheels Up. Zach Wheeler's on the mound.
So I'm a little concerned about this. Zach Wheeler, and if the game's delayed, like you could waste Zach Wheeler tonight.
I know. So here's the rest of the lineup, and then we'll get there because, yes.
Well, that's pretty much all I have to say. I'm just worried about wasting a Zach Wheeler start. If they delay it twice and he's already warmed up and then they just go, you're shut down.
Yeah, I know. That's a good point. Good point.
Well, maybe just call the
Kyle Schwarber, Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, JT in the 4, still Bryson, Nick, Brandon Marsh, one of my favorites now. Whitley Whit Merrifield, Yoro. He really is. And I've got some numbers for him. I've got some impressive numbers for him that I stumbled on. But I know, Mickey Durkin, you're saying that the Mets just canceled their game. The Phillies are still trying to play their game. It's 1:27. The game's supposed to happen in a couple of hours.
They got those good tea times tomorrow. Yeah. They don't want to cancel. The Reds and Phillies are both off tomorrow. The Reds go back for their home opener on Friday. The Phillies go down to D.C. I understand players don't want to adjust their schedules, but
They're trying to give a time. They're trying to give time
tornado
for
warnings
a travel day, a day off, this and the third. But
or maybe just start the baseball season in April.
Are we going to be out here, like the Wizard of Oz, getting swept up in a tornado?
We're 6 games into the season and already had 2 or 3 weather delays.
Yeah.
Like maybe baseball wasn't, or if you start the season in April, just have everybody down south. Like
I'd be fine with that. We can go down south.
Baseball in March
send me too.
In the Northeast is stupid.
Right.
I'm just gonna say it. So warm weather is on the horizon. This weekend looks like we actually turned the corner into springtime weather. But this week has been absolutely, pardon my French here, fucking miserable. All right. So the other storylines last night.
Yeah, the non-miserable storylines.
Yeah, there was 2 really good ones. First, we'll start with the guy that started the game, and that is Spencer Turnbull. The Phillies starting pitching, I should say, has been tremendous to start the year. Aaron Nola's been the worst one.
He just had a baby like a week and a half ago, so I'm gonna say he's not sleeping.
Expected.
Yeah, I'm gonna blame it on. I'm gonna blame it on that.
But Spencer Turnbull last night was spectacular. He was getting pitching ninja'd up. Went 5 innings, showed some good strikeout capabilities. Really looked the part. He's physically kind of imposing.
Yeah,
he's a big
I like
dude,
them.
broad shoulders. Spencer Turnbull looked really, really good for a debut start last night. So that's something, not that he's going to force Taijuan Walker out of the rotation because you're paying him $18 million a year, but to have that 6 starter type, the guy that can eventually maybe go to the bullpen and give you those 3-4 innings that Dickie Beans gave you last night. We'll get to him in a minute. That's a very big Dickie Beans.
Who?
Some people call him Ricardo Pinto.
Oh.
I call him Dickie Beans.
Okay.
We'll get to him in a minute. But that's a very big role in baseball.
I just realized why. What's wrong with you?
Old Dickie Beans.
What's wrong with you?
I mean, Jose Mesa this is actually Bo Wolf's fault. I have forever called Jose Mesa Joe Table.
Send help, please.
Like, I just don't call him Jose Mesa. He's Joe Table. And Bo put out Dickie Beans yesterday on Twitter, and I saw it, and my brain just, like, absorbed it. And I was like, he's Dickie Beans now.
No.
So blame Bo. Don't blame me. It's in my head.
No, you and Bo are, everybody's your children.
So
straight children.
We'll get to Dickie Beans in a second. But Spencer Turnbull, really, really nice debut.
Wrong? I will say, I always enjoy when you have somebody like a Spencer Turnbull. You bring in, he's a veteran, he's 31 years old. He's in that over the 30 hump for especially a guy like this that's truly just a piece wherever if you need him to start, he can. He's obviously had plenty of years in the majors. He's proven himself. And it's a lot less scary because of that. Like, you kind of know what you're going to get from him as that 5th starter. And even when he first walked out, I was like, oh, okay, Spencer. Like, he just seemed very calm, cool, collected.
That little baseball, football toss.
Like, that's the thing they were showing, his pregame routine and everything he was doing. I was like
a nunchuck
I liked it. He had a whole routine going, and I was impressed. And I was like, okay, this guy means business. This is somebody that's been here before. He's got the routine down. He's locked and loaded. And then also went out there and delivered and did a really good job in his 7 strikeouts, allowed the 1 unearned run in 5 innings. Overall, I thought he was steady for what you want as your 5th starter. And I was, I know we've talked a lot about the starting pitching and how well they've, been off to begin this season. And I thought Spencer Turnbull locked in very nicely. Now, I don't know. I'm not going to get too far ahead of myself and talk about the future and what that's going to look like. But for today, Spencer Turnbull was a bright spot, in my opinion, from yesterday's victory.
Yeah, we'll get Tyler's thoughts in a second on him. His expected ERA was 2.26 last night. His hard hit rate was only 40%, which last year his hard hit rate was almost 67%. His K rate was 21% last night, which is right around on his average for a career. But importantly, also his walk rate was down around 9% last night, 8.9%. He struggled in the past a little bit, being up in that 12 and 14% area. Threw a lot of strikes last night, 83 pitches on the night. Wasn't hit very hard. The average exit velocity was only 93 miles an hour. So
and his pitches looked really good, too.
So overall, yeah, he relies on 6 pitches in total. He's got a 4-seamer, a sweeper, which, by the way, when you come to the Phillies, your, I guess, slider just becomes a sweeper, Tyler. I don't know if that's the way it works, but it seems like with Caleb Cotham, it does.
I think pretty much if you come to this team, you better be able to throw a sweeper or a cutter. One of those
Caleb
two
Cotham's
pitches,
gonna rename your pitches.
You're going to be throwing by the time you're done.
He's got the curve, the sinker, the changeup, and the slider. So really good start for Spencer Turnbull. Hopefully we see that again in Game 2. Tyler, your Turnbull observations.
Yeah, I thought he was really sharp yesterday. And quite frankly, guys, I thought he obviously was heavy with the fastball and the sweeper, which makes sense. There is 2 pitches. He threw them 54 out of the 84 pitches he threw. But I got to be honest with you, he threw 10 curveballs last night, and I thought that they were extremely well-timed curveballs.
Yeah.
Because obviously the 4-seam is his fastball, and not that he's throwing 98. He was only throwing about 92-ish, maybe 93 on most of the day. And the sweeper is a little bit heavier. Compared to the curveball, it's like 84, 85. But the curveball had that slow fall off the table type of stuff. And I thought he did a really good job of mixing it in just enough. I thought he got Ellie De La Cruz out in front of it. I think he had I forget if it was Stevenson. It may have been Stevenson that he had out in front of it as well. But he got 4 swings on it and 3 whiffs. And I think they were perfectly placed at the right time. He didn't overuse it because it's not a really sharp, heavy breaking curveball. It's just one of them slow fall off the table type of curveballs. But I thought he did a really nice job of mixing in his pitch as well. Obviously, the 4-seam and the sweeper were the 2 heavy ones. But I think 10 curveballs were used last night, and I thought that they were really well timed.
Sorry for our whispering in here. Everything you said.
Yeah, we're just trying to do a show
really
here.
Good.
We're just talking about you.
While you were talking and filling air, we were filling. I was on behind the curtain.
No, there's no behind the curtain. You're on the camera. In front of the curtain. 4th wall. Go ahead, Deadpool.
Behind the curtain. I was on tomorrow's show, so I thought I did the wrong advertising. I was just clarifying. So, yes.
No, because up next we're talking about Empire. Let's talk about it because I've got nothing witty to transition because I feel like let's just stay here. It's fine.
And then we'll get to Dickie Beans.
Yes, and then we'll get to Dickie Beans. Exactly, Jamie. Don't you worry. We're going to get to Dickie Beans. First, let's talk about Empire today because there are a lot of you right now that are dealing with some flooding in your house. The weather has been really bad. My parents keep dealing with some leaks and flooding in their house. And if you do have a need, let's say to buy a new carpet, or you just want to change your flooring, maybe you're looking to do a little renovation, fixing up your house a bit, wanting to change the look, you can do that with Empire today because they make sure to give you convenience. You can shop at home. You can find the right product for your needs. And it's quick and professional installation. We all know about Empire today. We all know the jingle. But do you also know you get a price match guarantee? You get the ability to have a virtual opportunity to shop with their virtual floor designer, to be able to take a picture, see what the floor is going to look like in your space. So you have an idea of how does it match my curtains, my couch, my backsplash in my kitchen. Whatever type of flooring it is that you're looking to get. With Empire today, they simplify the process for you and give you a chance to shop from home. Take away the stress and the worry and even the feeling of being overwhelmed going in store and looking at all the different samples of floor mock-ups. I actually have some myself. There's a lot of different floor mock-ups. There's a lot of different options there. And with Empire today, they give you the chance to see what those floors look like, but also then, of course, with great quality, service, speed, that they also provide the products that they will put into your home. They really will give you an all-around fantastic experience. So although Empire today can't promise the lowest prices because, there's always going to be someone there with a lower, they can promise they're going to put a lot of thought, a lot of quality into your home, give you better prices, and also give you a chance to shop conveniently. So take advantage of the opportunity to schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 off. Get that discount and use the promo code PHLY. Restrictions do apply. And you can see empiretoday.com/PHLY for more details.
Colin says his roof is Brogdony. That's
no.
unfortunate.
That seems like it's collapsing.
The roof is Brogdony.
Your roof is getting DFA'd for Dickie Beans, Colin. That sounds like a great problem to have. But if your roof is leaking in this rain or your sub pump fails and things get frustrating today, there's always the cold, delicious Miller Lite waiting for you in the fridge. And it's the original light beer since 1975, and a lot has changed over the years. We were just watching, Tyler, the Steelers-Eagles 2004 game on TV yesterday, and you talk about times changing. That broadcast looked like it was from 1954.
Yeah, it was bad.
But guess what? Miller Lite tasted the same in 2004. Tasted the same in 1975 when they launched it. It's the beer drinker's light beer, and nothing has changed about it. And that's what makes it one of the best. The same quality you can rely on every time you crack one. And Miller Lite has more of the taste you want with less of the stuff you don't need. And look, it's about to be spring and summer and beach and pool season. So you need to transition to those low-calorie beers, boys and girls. And Miller Lite is that. It's less filling and only 96 calories per 12 ounces because Miller Lite keeps it simple. Undebatable quality, great taste, and only 96 calories. It's the beer that strips away everything you don't need and holds on to what matters most. A light beer that tastes like beer should taste. The original light beer since 1975, and times change, but you can always enjoy the great taste of Miller Lite. Tastes like Miller time. You can get Miller Lite delivered directly to your door. Visit MillerLite.com/PHLY Phills, or just simply find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces. And as you were doing your read, Renee, I found this in my pocket from from Dad Life, and that is a nice rainbow heart-shaped ring that says "Be You" that I found digging into my ribs on the couch.
Just to
so if you would like that, it's all yours.
You should keep it because I think it's a nice, friendly reminder. Like, I feel like it just brought you some happiness.
No, it reminds me of all the shit in my house that I try to secretly throw away from time to time. The old parent trick of like burying something in the trash. That was one of those. I was like,
and they'll be like,
the other day, and
Dad,
I was like,
where's that BU ring that I have?
In
like
2 months
five.
And I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't know. So that's all yours if you want it. All right, let's get to the man of the hour, Dickie Beans. Ricardo Pinto. What a story. And like, this is one of those. I love his story. How do you not love baseball? Because I heard the name Ricardo Pinto and I was like, it sounds really familiar.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, that is an old Philly Ricardo Pinto, is it? And sure enough, it was that old bust out Philly Ricardo Pinto. The last time he pitched for the Phillies was 2000. Wait, I have it written down
2019?
Here. Became the where are my notes? I can read.
September 29th. Well, not for the Phillies. I'm sorry. The Rays was 2019.
But for the
Phillies was 2017.
2017. It's the longest stretch in between games for the franchise since Marlon Byrd did it. He was just short of him. So Ricardo Pinto was up with the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs yesterday outside Rochester, New York. The Phillies could not find him a flight. They DFA'd Brogdon. You should have DFA'd Brogdon 8:30 a.m. and been on the horn with Ricardo, old Dickie Beans, at 9 a.m. I don't know what they were waiting for there. Couldn't find him a flight from Rochester to Philly in time, so they hired him a car service to ditch the Iron Pigs, come down to the big club. We've done that drive a bunch because we have a couple friends that live up in that general area. That drive is long and it sucks.
Oh, yeah.
So it took Ricardo almost 6 hours to get down. They hit some traffic. He shows up at the stadium in the 4th inning, says hello to Rob Thompson, warms up in the tunnel, threw a couple balls, says hi to the team, and Rob runs out to the bullpen, comes in for a 4-inning, 73-pitch save. Just a really, really cool story. And the reason it was a save opportunity was because he came into the game when it was a save opportunity. Bryce Harper just blew it open and made it a non-save opportunity, but he inherited a save opportunity, closes it out, and gets the save.
I will not be referring to him as DB. I'm going to just call him Ricardo Pinto.
Nope.
But Pinto this story is the epitome of stay ready so you don't have to get ready. You know, it's when your name is called, you're in Rochester, New York, one morning, and then 5.5 hours later, a drive, chaos. His Uber, the driver, also took him to the wrong spot.
Yeah, they dropped him off at Pass and Stowe.
Yeah, like they didn't know where Citizens Bank Park was.
Fans to get in. It's so
Can
funny.
you imagine walking to Citizens Bank Park? And of course, it's raining, so everybody has their ponchos and stuff on. And here comes a guy walking by you, Ricardo Pinto, in like street clothes and sweats. Probably didn't recognize him. Just casually walking with fans into the ballpark.
But
the story is remarkable because he literally found you. You find yourself showing up 35 minutes after the game even starts. You still warm up. You still have you have a great performance, and he had every excuse already written. If he had went out there and played badly, you could have easily said, "Oh, he had, he was late. He wasn't here this morning. He was in a whole other state this morning." The excuses were there, but Pinto name called, big moment, stepped up, and I just love the fact that he came in. That's so, in my opinion, like so mature, so like, he didn't even look frazzled. If you hadn't told me that story, there's no way I would even have known any of that happened prior. Because how many of us struggle driving like 30 minutes to work, let alone 5.5 hours to your job?
He was probably pissed off from traffic that he had a little extra
like you
adrenaline.
hit it's raining, it's traffic. And I know even yesterday, and actually today too, when it rains, people act like they don't know how to drive. You're probably in the car like, I got a game to get to, move out the way. There were accidents, there was flooding, all types of stuff. But, for Pinto, who did sign with the Phillies back in 2011, as you mentioned, pitched his final game with the team September 21st, 2017. 6 years, 194 days is insane. And when you talk about the fact that it is his first 4-inning save since 2019 in the big leagues when he was pitching with the Rays, that's the other part of this. This is your first opportunity back. And he was like, I've waited long enough. It's been since September 2019, and I am not letting anything get in my way.
Let's get some thumbs up in here for Dickie Beans.
Darth Pooh was saying, put some respect on his name. Say
right.
that man's name.
So I texted Bo about this.
I'm not doing it.
I texted Bo last night when I saw him tweet this, and I was just like, damn it, dude. Like, he's Dickie Beans to me now. This is your fault. And he said, I did think it was important to go with Dickie and not Dick Beans. So
Why?
It just it's a better flow, better baseball name flow. If you said Dick Beans.
The man's name is Ricardo. It's not even, it's
Dickie Beans, just right? You guys agree. It's got a better baseball
it's not
flow.
Richard.
Dick Beans would be weird. You would make it weird by going Dick
Well,
Beans.
because
So
it sounds like my brain instantly goes somewhere.
Sounds
gross.
like an STD. Dickie Beans sounds like somebody I would have babysit my children.
It's like I've got the DB.
Yeah.
I've got some DBs.
Old Dickie Beans. Tyler, your thoughts on Dickie Beans?
Other than your ridiculousness, it is your name. I
Help.
thought he was really sharp
Send
yesterday.
help.
So the splitter was the pitch that obviously kind of put him on the map in the Caribbean series. He was throwing it really, really well in the Caribbean series. And I was curious how it kind of translated to Major League hitting. And I think last night was a really good example of when it's on, it's really sharp because he doesn't throw overly hard.
No.
And the splitter only came in at like 82 to 85-ish. It's not like a heavy, younger Hector Neris splitter where he was throwing that at 87, 88. Even Hector Neris is down to like 83 now. But I thought it was he threw it at really well-timed spots, and he wasn't afraid to throw it in bad counts either. Like he would get down 2-1 and throw the splitter and get guys to chase over top of it. And the splitter is the type of pitch that if it's on and you're throwing it selectively out of the zone, and what I mean by that is like you're not starting it at the shins and having it break down. You're starting it at the knees and having it break down. It becomes an incredibly difficult pitch to hit. And I thought he did a really nice job of mixing it in. He threw a lot of sinker. It was a heavy sinker. It was 92, 93 last night, something along those lines. But the splitter I thought was his best pitch last night, and he threw it really well most of the evening.
His pitch breakdown is fascinating, to your point. So he relies on 5 pitches. And most of the time, when you see a major league pitcher, most of the time, a fastball is the primary pitch. So his goes like this in order of use. Sinker, he throws almost 51% of the time. That's his top pitch. Number 2 is the splitter that Tyler was just talking about at 34.2. Then the sweeper at 11%. Then the slider at 2.7%. And to Tyler's point again, the least frequent thrown pitch he has is his 4-seamer at 1.4% of the time. Dickie Beans ain't about that gas, Renee. Dickie Beans is gonna beat you down.
I actually like bean, like beans.
Beans.
I like beans.
We're gonna go with Beans.
I like beans as a nickname.
Yeah,
I would
Beans?
tolerate that. Yeah, beans.
Isn't that one of the kids from one of those movies in the 90s?
Yes.
Isn't there
Yes.
one of the kids Beans or Beansy or something?
Yeah.
What is
I can't
that?
remember which one.
What is that?
It's not.
Even Steven?
Beansy.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's definitely.
Or is it? Yeah, I think it's Even Stevens.
Is it?
It's like a chunky kid, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Beans is a good nickname. I know. Yeah.
Dickie Beans ain't about that gas.
Barbara was saying Richard Bean. There's options here. I like beans.
I'm pretty settled in on Big Dickie Beans, but you guys can do what you want. You're the nickname person, Renee.
Lisa said, I don't care what we call him as long I agree with you on that, Lisa. If he keeps throwing the way he is, keep throwing that.
It's a great
Beans
story.
gas.
But Dickie Beans will be gone.
They're good for your heart. The more you throw, the more you're out.
Yeah, it's good. He's only going to be here till April 9th. So enjoy Dickie Beans for the week.
And guys, think about it too. Like, as you get older and your fastball velocity dips, you're going to have to do something to stick around. And I think Pinto's done a good job to understand that. And this just, I don't want to take one sample.
1.7% fastball.
Yeah, but
wild.
even think about it too. And like, there are guys that don't throw traditional four-seam fastballs at all, and you would look at it and go, okay, that's a fastball, but it's really a sinker, or it's really a cutter or a two-seam, and it's just about life on your fastball. For example, Taijuan Walker, for the first time in his career last year, threw more sinkers than he did four seams, and the reason that he did that is because his velocity has dipped. His velocity was down to like 92, 93 last year. He recognizes that, and I think a lot of any pitching coach with any self-worth would recognize that. Once your velocity dips, you need to be able to locate and throw stuff with movement.
Yeah. All right, so those are the three main storylines of last night. Really fun night at the ballpark. We'll see if the game gets in today. I'm skeptical because last night on the news they were saying, yes, well, we'll get to you. See your hand raising. I'm about to transition there, Renee. But they said the weather is supposed to get...
See if you can pick up on what I want to say.
You want to talk about Dickie Beans?
No, we're done talking about... I think he's a...
But the weather is supposed to get worse tonight. I saw some comments saying the weather's looking better. It is still supposed to come in.
No, it's actually supposed to get worse. It's literally supposed to have... Last I checked, do we need to go into our meteorologist bag right now?
Who do we got? We got a house meteorologist? Meteorologist
what would our
Cuz out in the field?
Yeah. That'd be our name. So according to recent updates, starting at 2 p.m., the rain is going to continue. And then at 4 p.m., it's going to shift. And we're going to get some thunder and lightning moving in fast. There's about a 70% chance of thunder and lightning starting from 4 p.m. all the way through 6 p.m. That is prime time, James Edward Lynch. The game is supposed to start at 4 or 5. For all of you baseball fans that are looking to get down to Citizens Bank Park, starting at 4 o'clock, when the game's underway, we're going to get some lightning. And it's supposed to continue. And then the rain does not stop. In fact, the rain continues all the way until 2 in the morning. So if they're trying to postpone this game until the rain stops, expect an after midnight baseball Phillies special. That's basically what we're going to get.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it's stupid. Last night they announced that they're going to give all... Because last night
it's stupid.
The attendance sold was 28,199.
Oh, brother.
Our own John Foley, follow him on Twitter, 2008 Phils with a Z, was there, sent out a picture at one point. It was not a big crowd.
It's like flooding and gross out.
And they did say
Windy.
they're going to make it right by sending you a ticket offer for the season, meaning you're probably getting free tickets to another game. But now you're just inviting that again tonight. So, why not push it off to tomorrow?
And you guys in the chat are letting us know where you're, what the weather's like near you. I know, Slem, you're mentioning in Baltimore, it's also nuts right now. Jim, you're saying in West Virginia, the weather's the same. Let us know what the weather's looking like near you, because somewhere it's got to be sunny. Somewhere it's sunny somewhere, not rainy. But yeah, K-Red, the rain is stupid. K-Raleigh X26 is saying that the Braves game was also postponed. A lot of games are getting postponed.
What are we doing here?
A lot of games are getting postponed. And I don't know, Chris, you're mentioning in the chat, there has to be a 1 p.m. game tomorrow instead. And Colin, I don't know that an MLB
would you guys
player's
like an
ever been
incredible
struck
story on that?
by lightning.
There has been an MLB player struck by lightning.
Know this.
Yes. It was back in 1919. Ray Caldwell pitched in a game and was struck by lightning and then proceeded to come to and finish the game.
No.
Stayed on the mound and finished the game.
Have you guys ever
Back
seen the
when
video?
men were men.
Have you guys ever seen, and the Mets did just make a signing actually. Have you guys ever seen the video of the guy that got struck by lightning twice?
It happened to a cousin
And he
of mine.
gets down, he gets struck, falls out, lays there. They speed up the video and his body's just laying there, and then he randomly stands up, starts walking again, gets struck.
That's like the woman that got hit twice by a Richie Ashburn foul ball.
Oh, yeah, that's rough.
She got drilled in the head. She started to get taken out on a stretcher, and then Richie fouled another one off and hit her again.
Oh, Kim is saying it's pouring. Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
It's pouring in Scranton. It's pouring in
what are we doing?
Harrisburg. Red, if you're a few hours ahead of us, that's what's coming this way.
What are we doing here? All right, to wrap up last night's games, I feel really bad for Garrett Stubbs' testicles. That had to hurt. And it's bad because you saw JT immediately from the dugout start getting loose.
Yep.
And
Well, it's cold and rainy.
It was 42
and
degrees and wet and cold.
It just bounced on in there.
Oh, poor guy. But to his credit, he toughed it out. JT started warming up right away. Like, all right, I guess I'm going in because I know what that feels like. So pour one out for Garrett Stubbs' testes today. And then the last point from the game last night, the happiest guy in that locker room had to have been Trey Turner. His defense, what the F is going on with this guy? Like, he was never a Gold Glove shortstop.
When he gets out of his own head.
But he is getting worse. Like, he wasn't great with the Dodgers. He got worse with the Phillies. He's on pace right now to be worse than he was last year, which I didn't think was possible because we talk about he can make great plays. He has the ability. But, like, that throw last night, woof.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Woof.
That's not the player I was going to highlight, but Trey has been having.
Well, that's because everybody forgot
oopsies.
about Trey because Bryce Harper went and
he's
hit
been
balls
having
over those
some
mountains.
moments of like, I don't know if he
looks good offensively.
I don't know if sometimes he gets caught moving too fast because he's a speedy guy and he needs to kind of like settle in, kind of like how Tyrese Maxey was a couple seasons ago. Where he was just almost rushing in his attack to the basket, rushing in his passes, rushing and trying to do too much too fast. Like once he started slowing down and letting the game come to him a little bit more, instead of like overthinking and forcing things, that's where you got the Tyrese Maxey of this season. Like I wonder if Trey Turner's also dealing with some of that.
Maybe.
As a speedy, athletic guy, he is used to things going so well. And like with each mistake, I wonder if he's trying to like overcompensate now, overthinking it now, and it's leading him to have these blunders that are just like
somehow
basic.
He wasn't even the worst shortstop in the game last night.
I know.
Ellie was terrible defensively last night.
3 errors.
Yeah, he was.
He was putrid. That was some bad.
Maybe it was the weather.
The one that I don't get. So
I don't know. I know in the chat they're saying Ellie was worse.
He
too.
came in on the one ball. It was kind of ranged up the middle. And I think it was Bryson Stott was running. And I know Bryson Stott has speed and he was moving up the line. But I felt that he had an opportunity to kind of, maybe not set himself and throw, but to kind of to throw with his momentum.
Off his back foot across his body.
He like slung it across his body. It was such a weird decision.
And when you're falling at full speed, you think you're cooler than you are. And it's a really hard throw.
I know in the chat they're talking about him not squaring up on ground balls. And Colin brings up a good point. There's a YouTube video with a compilation of Trey's plays showing poor mechanics prior to when he was even a Philly. It's just one of those things that has never been fixed. But I will say it was slick. It was obviously raining, but that's not the first time he's done this. We've seen this way too many times from Trey.
Yeah. So that was the game last night. For tonight, as we're getting out of here, we're gonna look ahead to the lines on your bet. We have a time limit today, Renee.
I have some numbers that I think are really fascinating.
Okay, then get them in. We got
about Brandon
5
Marsh.
minutes.
All right, I'm going to go fast. Brandon Marsh, there was a tweet that was put out. I can't take credit for this. Ryan Spader tweeted this out. Shout out to him, who does a whole bunch of baseball tweets and updates and things. He was talking about Brandon Marsh is batting. He is batting slash lines at 285, 362, 476 with 73 runs, 32 doubles, 8 triples, 17 homers, 75 RBIs, 11 stolen bases over the last 162 games. Now,
so does Kevin Long get credit for that, or he only gets the spot on him when people struggle?
What makes this special is he actually broke it down, and he said that essentially Brandon Marsh's slash line is the same as Juan Soto's batting average, Mike Trout's on-base percentage, and Bryce Harper's slugging percentage over their last 162 games played. And so his tweet was saying it's almost like a compilation of Juan, Mike, and Bryce in his stats, and also the fact that his 838 OPS over the last 162 games is at the top of the likes of, a Bobby Witt Jr., Marcus Semien, Jose Ramirez, Luis Robert Jr., Julio Rodriguez. He's in there with great competition that he's better than with his OPS. Adolis Garcia is at 836 over the last 162, and Brandon's at 838. And then from there, it's quite an impressive list. So he was saying, like, when you look at his stats over the last 162 games, he's up there with some very impressive people. That kind of surprised me.
But you can't.
He's like, imagine.
I don't know if that's an effective exercise where you pick and choose stat lines and compare them to the league.
I was gonna say, Jamie, like I'm really happy to hear that
Ryan
he's
does a nice job
succeeding.
with his stats and stuff. That one's a little.
That's the most cherry picked stat line I've ever heard in my life.
I'm glad you were thinking the same thing. I was like, wait, you can't do that.
Oh my! I mean, listen.
But he was saying it was basically a
but
compilation of his stat line is essentially a Juan Soto's batting average, Mike Trout's on-base percentage, and Bryce Harper's slugging percentage mushed into one person.
I mean,
and you get Brandon Marsh.
But Brandon Marsh is taking some really nice strides here.
That's
there
why I
should
really
be
wanted to
no
bring it up.
platoon in left field. He should be here every day. Lefty
Fun
or
to
not,
watch, hitting home runs.
let the guy play versus left-handed pitching. But that just
he's
put my
proven
brain
he
in a
wants to be an
pretzel.
everyday player.
Yes,
and should be. And I just thought that was a fun nugget for you guys.
that is nice.
That's all
Brandon
I wanted
Marsh
to add. And that there's still 2 minutes to spare.
All right. So as we get out of here, we're going to go over the Bet Parks lines for tonight's game, which will probably be played tomorrow afternoon. This is all very stupid. But right now, the Phillies with Zach Wheeler. Don't waste Zach Wheeler night. Like, just don't go into the night and have a rain delay come at 6:55 and shut them down for a half hour and then start it up again. And then it ends up getting canceled because a tornado comes down Ashburn Alley. Like, just don't waste a Zach Wheeler night, please. It's stupid.
Oh, and Kyle Schwarber is looking fit. Love the fact that he's consistently hitting singles. Sorry, it's on bench.
So that's my concern. Mostly, like, I don't have tickets to tonight. I'm not invested in going to the game, but like, don't waste. You only get what, 34-ish, 35 of these a year? Don't waste one when the game is clearly. Anyway, the Phillies are minus 177 with Zach Wheeler on the mound tonight on the money line on Bet Parks. The Reds are at plus 150 on the money line. If you want to dabble with the Phillies run line tonight, they're plus 123 on 1.5 runs. The over-under is at 8. And I know everybody's thinking it. What is Bryce Harper's odds to go yard again? Well, it's not the best in the game. Kyle Schwarber's still the best in the game. But Bryce Harper to go yard tonight, a nice little plus 375. And Shiesty Bryce is a real thing now, and he's in the zone.
Ski Mask Bryce if they do play.
So if you want to dabble in a little Bryce Harper running it back if they get this game again, do it. But thanks to everybody here in the chat for hanging out with us today on our audible time because we don't know if a post game's happening, and me, Tyler, and Renee don't want to live here. So we will be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Friday night versus the Nats. We will be doing a post game show into the evening. And then hopefully this bullshit weather will leave us alone and we can get back to life as normal. But for Tyler Zulli, Renee Washington, I'm Jamie Lynch. Hit that like button on the YouTube page as you're getting out of here. Tell your friends and family. We got some exciting things in store coming up real soon. We can tell you about more in the very near future. But thanks for hanging out with us. Have a great, hopefully dry day, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
We all silly like the mayor.